This was a long time ago. Hi everybody, and gosh darn, it has been a really long time ago since I last saw you, or you saw me, because I see you and I like your comments. But yeah, before we start this video, I just need to be like, ha! And just say a big thank you for all the new people here and the amazing response on my last video. I'm just like, wah! And also that I got to be like shown in the end of her video. I was like, ah! So if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. But I do believe most of you have, maybe, I don't know. And also together with the fact that we kind of have gotten some new peeps here, I was thinking maybe we can do a fun contest thingy when we reach 1000 here and on the Instagrams. So I also will have some time to think about it. But yeah, my thought was that maybe we can do like design a peach for my honey girl, maybe. So we will have the full duo of the name HoneyPeachDoll. But yeah, that is just an idea in my head. I don't know, do you have any ideas? If you do, please leave them in the description box down below. Also, Milo wanna say hi. Milo, you wanna say hi? Yes, you do. Say hi, Milo. Hi. No, but after this rambling, let's do Rayla from Dragon Prince. I'm starting off by removing the hair with these super slow scissors. I really need to get a better pair of scissors. But I managed. So the hair is off and I'm saving it for another project. Now the head. I'm removing the head with a heat gun because I don't really use water anymore because you know that never ends well. But it's basically the same thing and it's easy to tug off when the head is soft. Then I'm using some dentist tools to scrape off the inside and the glue of the head, and I remove the insides with some needle nose pliers. Yeah, and it's done. I wanted to have an easy project, but I got so engaged, so I just like start sending off the whole body and the panty line. Also, important note, Moon Shadow Elves has 4 fingers, so off with the pinky we go. And now the feet. I don't feel like Rayla should walk on her pinkies, so I remove the feet and give her some flat ones with this mold that I made. Essentially, I just found some feet for BUD on Thingiverse, and then I just 3D printed them, sanded, and prepped them, and then I molded them. And now I'm just trying to make another mold for them with hot glue, which did not end so well. I even tried Super Sculpting, but I don't know, it was kind of too soft to work with, so I scrapped that later. You can definitely try these methods if you want to. It just didn't work for me. Instead, I used some thermoplastic beads that I got from a cosplay shop a long while ago, and just heated it up in hot water and then molding in it. It worked so much better. Here's also some more details on how I ended up with the feet and the finished result, because it was very much a big trial and error for me. But yeah, when I was basically done with the outlining stuff, I could just, slot them in, use some wire to stick it together, and yeah, I have some movable feet. Now it's time for the clothes. I have really gotten into making more doll clothes, but like everything else, it's just trial and errors. So I made this pattern like you do cosplay patterns by taping your body and then making the pattern on yourself, or in this case the doll, and then cutting it all out. So I did that, and yeah, the pants are like always from my Focus Shop, which is like my holy grail of pants tutorials, so I always use those. I wasn't really happy with the first doll clothes, so I made a new pair. And to be honest, a lot of this video is from the first trial I did of the doll, which is like the clothes was meh. The outer piece I tried to do with Vorbla because I thought it would look cool to have more like an armor texture, but it just ended up looking clunky. So I skipped that. But if you ever want to use Warbler for making armor, maybe this helps you. I even made her a tiny belt. Second try. I finally found a place that sells Freyshake, so I ordered that and redid everything actually, but this time with Freyshake. And I must say the quality in what I made was a huge difference. It was so much better. I still had to do like 3 different clothing pieces before ending up with this one, but it was so great and it looks so much better than what I could have done before, so I'm still very happy with it. I made some details also, like her shoulder plate, or I don't know what to call them, but because of the hoodie it wasn't going to show anyway, so I skipped those. And here you can see me make the tiny hoodie for her. The fabric I used was really stiff, so it was hard to make it align the way I wanted it to. But by some sheer determinedness, I made it work. And this is kind of the finished result of that. I wanted to quickly show how I did the belt more, because I didn't show how I made the rest of the clothes that actually worked. But yeah, it was pretty like straightforward. Fray shake, then you wait it to dry, and then you hem the edges, and then you sew on the thing. I even incorporate here her belt buckle that I actually didn't end up using. I decided to use a metal one instead. I can also say here that no matter how small the piece you have as Warbler, save it, because you can always melt everything together and just make one thick Warbler piece. And here's basically the end result of the belt buckle. The belt buckle belt. Ooh. I used like 3 different snaps on this one so it can hang like it does in the TV show. And now the shoes. This was actually the first time I sewed a pair of shoes, and or actually it's not the first time I did the Uggs. but that was another type of sewing. This was more form fitted, and it was so weird, and I definitely have a lot to learn. I would not put the seams on the sides as I did on this one. Also, I'm sorry for the quality. It was so it would be easier to see something. That's why my hands look super weird. But yeah, here's the thing I said about the warbler. You can just melt it all together. Be careful, it's very hot. So I also decided to make this hemline for the shoes, so it wouldn't be just like fabric, then it's like warbler. It looks a lot better with the hemline, and then I just like colored it, and realizing I had to color the clothes too. I took a tiny brush and I actually just did some squiggles. I didn't follow Rayla's original design she had because I think that would be too tiny, and I don't know, I just tried to make it more understandable. So here's the finish of the clothes. And also we can't forget her horns. So I used hot glued a pair of wires, and then I used some shading, some purple shade of those Warhammer paints I always talk about. But yeah, now we can move to the hair. I had prepared a chunk of yarns by splitting them and cutting them up, and then I just use a big embroidery needle to poke the head. Basically the same thing you do with the reroute, but just with yarn. And then I tie it at the end, and I basically did that around the whole head. So this was quite a long and tedious project, but as long as you have something to watch, it's totally fine. Now I'm brushing out the yarn to make it more hair textury, and I start at the end of the hair and just move it up towards the head. And now we flatten it. I try to do this in section so I won't miss any part. And I don't know if it's my flat iron or something, but it doesn't do really what I want, even though if the end result looks really nice. So, we're happy with that. We're just gonna move forward, masking off the hair, use some epoxy to sculpt on the ears. So I'm using 2-part epoxy sculpt, and I do feel like I need to warn if you're using 2-part epoxy sculpt that you should wear gloves, or at least try if you're not sensitive towards the material, because it is a kind of, epoxy material. I don't know how else to say it. So it can be really dangerous. I haven't really had any problem with it, but I should really use gloves. I usually try to wear gloves. Don't do as I do, kids. But yeah. A quick note while you do the ears is to just take your time with it. I didn't get them symmetrical as I wanted to, but your face is not supposed to be symmetrical. Your ears are not symmetrical, so it's fine. Let's just move forward, seal the head with Mr. Super Clear and the body, so we can move on and just, blush it after waiting for about 30 minutes to an hour per spray. I'm using this pan pastels that I bought recently, and my goodness! It's amazing. Like, holy moly, this is some pigmented. Like, if you have thought about getting pan pastels, I do recommend get some pan pastels. It's amazing. Like, look at the difference on this other Spectre doll I have and Rayla. Like, whoo! I am intrigued. I am happy. I am satisfied with my buying. I won't say my care, but that's another purchase. Thank you. So now I'm moving on with the eyes. For most doll customizer, this is the part that takes the most time because you really want to get them kind of symmetrical at least. I'm not saying it should be 100% symmetrical, but kind of symmetrical. And here is again where the pan pastels shine. I'm using this white one, and whoo! Yes, queen, yes. I was so in love with the pan pastels that I'm trying to use it on as much stuff as possible because it's just so much fun, even though I kind of go back to the watercolor pencil at the end because they are kind of superior when it comes to this detail work, but I am happy. I am happy. I also draw on Rayla's under eye tattoos, or what I should call them, before coloring them in with blue and purple because I didn't really know, or I didn't really have the perfect shade, so I was like trying to mix it myself. Then I build up the rest of the coloration in her eyes and lips and face. As always, these stuff take time and layers, so put on a book, put on a movie, and just have fun. Don't stress with it if you can. Because I want her to have more of a natural look, I am using a lot of grays and like tinted colors more than, outgoing colors. When I feel like I'm coming to the end, I usually start taking the watercolor pencils and dipping a brush in water and picking up the colors to make it more opaque. You can usually do this in the beginning, but doing that will also make it harder to build up the other colors you want to do. So I usually do it at the end. There's a million ways to build up different colors. I usually go darker, 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 and then I go lighter, just to make it like more dimensional. And as a finishing touch, I am glossing the lips. And the eyes, cause I felt like it. When I'm done with the face, I can't forget to seal in the body too. So I'm mixing up water and matte varnish and just brushing it on about 3 layers on the body to make it sealed. And then we put the head back on the body, and my goodness, it is adorable to see. Kind of like not finished result, but also finished result. Let's just move on to her hair. Let's start with the hair. I do have a reference of Rayla in the background, as you can see probably. And then I just try to mimic what she's going on with splitting the hair in the middle and then just splitting the bangs, in Russia we call it pesiki, but I don't know the English word. And just like start cutting away everything and style somewhat. I am really not good at styling yarn hair. I feel like that's still a process I'm learning, but yeah, I totally failed, and I kind of ruined the face when I thought I could iron it flat to the head, which you can see here. Not really my best decision. And I don't stop with the stupidity there. I use some got to be super glue hairspray that I have on my fingers and just try to run it through the ends to make them more anime-esque. And I do believe it kinda works. The hair isn't as nice as it was before, but it kinda works, you know? I do not recommend. Well, I thought I was done with the doll, but then I was just like, hey, she has her like funny weapon thingies. I want to incorporate those. So you took some scrap warbler and draw on her weapons on a sheet of paper, cut it out, and use that as template for the weapon. And then I just cut out the pieces. So I had two long parts because she has two swords thingy, and then I cut out four handles so I could stack them on to look more three-dimensional. Then I heated it up, scored her weapon thingies, and I just colored everything. So now that I believe we have all the pieces, let's look at Rayla from Dragon Prince. Wow, I am pretty happy actually with the end result. Oh my god, this took me a lot longer than I thought. I just thought I wanted to have like a simple project, but then I was just like getting so engaged with it, and I'm so happy actually that I did. This is one of the best dolls I've done in a while actually, and I'm really happy with her. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. And like, have you seen Dragon Prince? If you don't, like, who's your favorite character? I mean, I love Rayla, but I also love the twins, and you know, and the king is pretty cool. I basically love everyone in this show, but Rayla is the one I had to start with, and yeah, she's finished. So this means that this video is finished, kinda. You know, that sounds very sad. No, but I hope you have enjoyed this. Is If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. If you have any idea for a fun thing we can do when we hit 1,000 subscribers, please tell me. And if you haven't, follow me on Instagram. I'm very social interactive there than I am here, actually. And yeah, that was it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for the support I have been given from the last since I started this channel. I don't even know, I'm just like still, you know. And yeah, this was fun. I will see you guys some other time, and bye.